This is the problem with the Phoenix Suns organization. Now, the Suns have had a multitude of head coaches the past 4 or 5 years, right? And every single time they get fired, it's because of the players. Now, I'm confused here because is the team ran by the front office or the players? Now, successful organizations are ran by the front office. The Warriors when they went on their dynasty, Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson weren't out here firing and hiring head coaches. No, they weren't doing that. You know, they were actually just there playing ball with whatever system it was. If it was with Steve Kerr or whoever else it was, they were just playing basketball, and general manager and the management decided on coaches. Now, the Phoenix Suns, to have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant be the reason why Mike Budenholzer is gonna lose his job is outrageous. Former NBA champion Mike Budenholzer apparently is the problem for the Phoenix Suns. The same thing happened with Vogel, former NBA champion. He was the problem with Devin Booker. Monty Williams, former head coach of the year. He's the problem. But never it's Devin Booker. Never Devin Booker is the problem. And the problem with Booker is, I'm going to come out and say this. Now, I know somebody's done a similar little comparison, but a moment with me. Take a moment and think about the elite shooting guards in the league. There's always either a really great achievement or a great comparison. And for Booker, it's just not there. He's too emotional. Devin Booker, he's out here beefing with a fan page, that he formerly gave tickets. I saw, took a picture with him, a while ago in 2019. He put a post about Luka, flexing in front of the Suns. And Devin Booker got emotional, posted this. Literally posted, he's supporting his team. Now, this is my problem with Booker. He's so emotional. Now, with the elite shooting guards, is what I was going to say with the comparisons is, take a moment. Think about Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP, NBA champion. Now, think about Anthony Edwards. You think about Michael Jordan, the athleticism, the jump shot that he has. He's a great scorer. Think about, Donovan Mitchell, number one seed, Dwayne Wade-esque. You're seeing all these great comparisons. Now, think about Devin Booker, and you think about losing, emotionally losing, talking before the game ends and end up losing, getting thrown out by the Nuggets in the playoffs, getting thrown out by the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs, getting owned by Jokic, getting owned, by Luka Doncic. That's the problem with Devin Booker. He's supposed to be the next Kobe, but Kobe at his age was already a multiple-time NBA champion. Meanwhile, Devin Booker is out here, not only losing in the playoffs, which everybody loses in the playoffs. I've named Anthony Edwards lost in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell's lost in the playoffs. But the way Devin Booker loses, it's embarrassing. Getting blown out in multiple elimination games. Getting, swept. It's sad. It's genuinely sad the way he crashes out of playoffs. And the fact that they have this guy having one of the biggest powers in the NBA. My man's moving like Jeremy Lamb, apparently, being able to have all these, head coaching carousels because he's not, agreeing with these former NBA champion coaches. They've won more rings than Devin Booker, but apparently, Devin Booker's the problem. Apparently the head coaches are the problem, not Devin Booker, because genuinely, Devin Booker hasn't been, a factor in the NBA, championship category since 2022. And you know what he did there? He blew a 2-0 lead to Milwaukee. But also, with Kevin Durant, to keep his opinion in this head coaching, issue is kind of flabbergasting because he wants to get traded. They're expected to trade him in the offseason. He doesn't want to stay with the Suns. Every time you look at Kevin Durant, he's arguing with the coach, he's arguing with the players, or he's arguing with the other team. He's just arguing. So he wants to go to a contender because he's on the team that's not even in the play-in right now. So clearly, giving Kevin Durant's advice on head coaching is awful. So I think this is a problem with general manager because the general manager should be able to go out there and say, this is our head coach and we're sticking with the head coach. We're not going to be firing the head coach because a couple players are, having a problem with the head coach. That absolutely tilts the power right there because the players are supposed to be the players to follow the coach's game plan, not the players affect and dictate what the game plan is going to be. And that's the difference between the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors and all these other teams that won championships, the Boston Celtics. the Thunder, the Cavs, they're all following their coaches, game plan. They're not running coaches out of the team. They're following the game plan, and they're at the top of the league. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Suns can't even get into the play-in right now, with the Dallas Mavericks above them, and the Dallas Mavericks are filled with G League players. That's just showing you where the Phoenix Suns are right now. They've got Nick Richards, Tyus Jones, they've got a couple solid pieces, good enough to be able to, take a step over the Dallas Mavericks and maybe even the Kings. But obviously, when you have these guys with attitude problems, you're not going to be able to win as many games as you would, you previously would have back then when you had Chris Paul, when it was Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton. You only had Booker was really the ego. You had, Chris Paul was playing for Booker. He's a facilitator. And then you had Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, you had DeAndre Ayton. These guys were level-headed. They were doing the dirty work and they would shut up. Instead, you've got Kevin Durant out here arguing with the whole world, and he's not the same player he used to be, 3-4 years ago. That's the problem here. So, if I'm the Phoenix Suns, you gotta blow it up at one point, because you're not gonna be good enough to win a ring as Devin Booker as your number one guy. You've already gotten as close as you could have, and you're not gonna be able to, build the assets, build the squad, build the roster, and as good as it was in 2022, because you've already wasted all these assets on the likes of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. So if the Phoenix Suns are smart, you trade KD and you trade Devin Booker. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What do you think the Phoenix Suns need to do to be able to be competitive once again like they were in 2022? But anyways, thank you guys for watching.